just for messing around. But there's a downside to that. I mean, you could be a cult leader. You could like have people activated by, just a simple Twitter message. I was saying the other day that the actor Ashton Kutcher, who got married Demi Moore, he's got over 1.3 million people on his Twitter thing as followers. Now, he was in a competition with Larry King or something, and it was just sort of a joke and all that. But just by typing something in right now, he can send a message to over 1.3 million people at no cost to him. And
well, maybe that's what I need to do with the Rotary Purple Heart.
Yeah, goodness knows you could use that for good or bad.
Send me in $1.
Now, me, I've only got maybe 80 or so-called followers or something, but it takes a while to build them up. But it is kind of amazing how it could be used for means or nefarious purposes as well. And I think you're seeing some of that with that unfortunate crime spree with that Craigslist and so on.
Yep.
There's that kind of thing, but also you could use these publicly available means of communication for any kind of activity, and including terrorist-type stuff and anything else.
It's much like fire. And fire is a wonderful tool, but it's a terrible weapon also.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Hotline.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Pretty good. What's up?
Okay, well, you got a great guest there.
Okay, this is our friend from Prague, correct?
Yeah.
Is that where you are today, or are you back in Arizona?
No. I'm in Prague, and you can fill Mike in.
Okay.
Who's talking? But I got a question for Mike to summarize here. It's, he's been one of the great additions to Jeff County. I know he doesn't want to hear that, but it's obvious that all the good things Mike has done. And in my Army days, I would have called him Sir, but I'm going to call him Mike.
Okay.
That's good for me.
Yeah. Mike, when they first did the expansion, about 86, we heard that there was more of an infrastructure that was installed for further expansion. Now, I don't know was it table of organization or whatever, how many brigades you can have in a division, et cetera. And I know you gave some numbers out earlier in the show, between $1.5 billion now up to $3.5 billion. But can you just sort of summarize what that infrastructure was for expansion?
Yeah, the original infrastructure called for 2 active duty brigades, an aviation brigade, an artillery brigade, and a support brigade. That's what we physically had in the division. We opened up space and stubbed the area for the 3rd Infantry Brigade. And that's what a normal division would have, 3 infantry brigades instead of 2. So everything was stubbed, and within the area where we actually built infrastructure, we stubbed all that in the event you wanted to build a building bigger. We put all our motor pools in with reinforcement in the event the division changed from a light division to a medium or heavy division. All of those were incorporated at the design level.
And where does it stand right now in terms of its uses? Is it all maxed out?
Yep, it's got all 3 of its infantry brigades. It's got a sustainment brigade. It's got an aviation brigade. And what it doesn't have is your artillery brigade, but the artillery is now part of the infantry brigade, like the old regiment.
Okay. And in the event that, this is amazing that they would consolidate at this point to bring up Fort Polk. That's amazing. What would that involve in terms of further expansion, the drum?
It's about 3,500 soldiers and probably 2,200 family members.
That's all they need. It's just housing. You say they can assimilate that now?
We could assimilate that. The housing would be a stretch. I mean, if we knew they were coming, we could get out in front of it, and the housing could probably be built before they arrive up here, because the systems are in place now that we know how to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Pretty easy now to expand, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, the folks down in Fort Polk aren't too happy about that discussion, I'm sure. But
well, what would probably happen, one of the brigades out of Germany, eventually they're going to leave Germany and go somewhere in the United States. One of them would probably go and replace the 4th 10th Mountain Brigade down at Fort Polk.
Yeah. Hey, we're a blue state. We want it. We're not a red state like Louisiana.
Yeah.
So we should get everything up there.
on all your accomplishments there, Mike, and good luck with the expansion on that Rotary scholarship.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
That's great.
All right, thanks for calling.
All right.
All right, that's our caller from Prague, Czech Republic. Good afternoon, Hotline.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question for your guest.
Sure.
With those 3,500 soldiers, are we talking off-base housing or on-base?
primarily off-base housing. Now, we're not saying that they're coming. We're just saying that that's a possible scenario depending upon how many brigades they pull out of Europe. Right now, the timeline calls for about 20,000 soldiers at Fort Drum through 2011.
Okay, are you familiar with the 11,000 area, sir?
Yeah.
On Drum?
Yeah.
I had a question. Why would they build those islands in the middle all over the place when they know 53-foot semis are pulling in there?
I don't have the slightest idea in the world.
Huh?
He doesn't know that. I mean, he knows a lot, but he doesn't know everything.
Well, no, it's just a question, like, it doesn't make things easy on anybody to pull in there with a 53-foot semi. And it could save time in, a lot of areas not even putting those things in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the islands downtown, except for you don't have 53-footers, moving. I mean, these soldiers are coming in and out like crazy. And my question is, why would they put those? It just doesn't make no sense to me.
Okay, well, that's a question for other people, but thanks for the call. All right. When you tell people you're knowledgeable on a variety of topics, they really think you are omniscient.
No, I definitely don't know the answer to that.
Okay, 755-1240 with about 3 minutes left on today's hotline. I've been getting a few Twitters during the show here from different people, so all sorts of
So
things.
you're Twitter certified is what you're trying to tell your audience.
Pretty much, yeah. Swine flu stuff, all the news you can use, and some of it you don't really need to know.
Well, ask them about the islands in the middle of the Ontario Boulevard.